And I define compartmentalization as like a waffle, right? It's, there's a waffle, right? There's syrup. When you put syrup on a waffle, like they go in each individual compartment, right? And, deployment, in my opinion, is a waffle. And if you just pour all your syrup on that waffle and just flood it, that's your compartmentalization. Like, you got to have a Waffle House waffle, man. The little compartments, boop, you just fill that one up, and then that one's gone, right? And you just every day is and through the whole deployment, you fill up the whole waffle, but it's very organized, right? And that's what I tell students too when they're joining naval aviation. It's like, guys, you are an Eggo waffle, right? You have huge compartments, and it's a very small waffle, right? Things go overboard very quickly. When you pour the syrup in, it's just a sloppy mess, right? You will one day become a Waffle House waffle, right? It's huge, and it's got very small compartments, and it doesn't overflow into the next compartment, right? But once you start having that interaction with your spouse, like that, life changing events happen. It kind of floods your waffle a little bit. It's like you got to learn how to get back to the norm, the daily grind, so you don't get distracted. Yeah.
That's a great analogy. I'll have to steal that. I always wondered, I haven't talked to any UAV dudes, especially like in the beginning, where, for the Air Force, they're up at Creech, but they're living in Las Vegas. They go sit in a box for 12 hours and they shoot a couple of Hellfires or drop a GBU-12 or whatever it is. But then they're going to the soccer game in the evening. Like you really can't. Yeah. You might be supporting guys who are troops in contact and hearing guys screaming, yelling on the radio, and then you're leaving to head downtown to go to a dinner with a bunch of friends. Like that would be a weird world versus if you're just completely separated, and you're also surrounded by people who are dealing with the same thing. I think that'd be easier to manage.
Yeah, I tell that my little Waffle House in Eggo waffle. It's like, because you got in this business, you got to learn how to compartmentalize, and that's the best way to think about it. Is you don't want a sloppy waffle. You got to use each individual compartment, and the better you get at it, the bigger your waffle gets, man. And it takes time, but like you said, those guys have to have a massive waffle, because that'd be extremely tough.
Yeah, can't imagine. You do 2 tours as an avionics technician?
No, just one.
Just
my
one?
first tour, just first tour, and towards the end of that, I was either going to go instructor, and this is what I told myself. I was either going to get selected for instructor duty. I applied for be a Blue Angel maintainer. I didn't get picked up for that, and then or I was going to get out. And I have a lifelong friend. He's a huge mentor for me, Gordy Hartman. He was a warrant officer in charge of our kind of branch, if you will, avionics branch at the time. And he came to me one day, and this was on my second deployment. And he grabbed me. He's like, "Hey, Nate, you need to join you need to apply for this officer program." I'm like, "What officer program?" Right. So a lot of things that happened to me, and I didn't even know they existed. The Navy didn't really exist to me. This officer program didn't really exist to me. But he came up to me. He literally looked in my eyes. He's like, "You're a piece of shit if you don't apply for this program." I'm like, "What?" That's what he told me. I mean, I will never forget it. I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." And he literally kind of walked me through the process, helped me. And then I had down days where I wouldn't do anything because it was a pretty intense kind of application process. And he would literally come check on me like every other day. It's like, "Hey, how's your speech coming along, or whatever your write-ups coming along?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm still working on them." And he just worked me through the whole process, and I'm doing this on deployment, right? So there's no internet, there's none of this stuff. And somehow he found a way, fax machine, whatever, and we got the officer package submitted in time to be considered. But again, he's just like the recruiter sitting on the bench. You know what I mean? "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not doing anything." That's what he was saying. He's like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you applying for this officer program?" And why he picked me out of the other 130 sailors to latch on, I have no idea. You would have to ask him that. But he's at my change command. We're still in touch today. He's been a huge influence in my life, and it's like I owe this. I owe it to a couple. Bailey Harris, my basketball coach. He was actually my guest speaker at my retirement change command because he meant so much to me. Normal people, they have I got a 4-star coming to speech. I'm like, I don't want no 4-star, man. I don't want any stars. I want Bailey Harris, my high school basketball coach, to come tell you, what I was like versus what I am now. And so he's been instrumental. And then Gordy Hartman, who kind of jump started my officer career, helped me get that package submitted. So that was it. I got the package submitted, selected, and then went off to Rhode Island for knife and fork school. It wasn't full OCS. It was just a knife and fork. So it was a 6-week long course to teach you how to learn how to use or wear officer uniforms. And then I was off to South Carolina. So it was pretty quick transition. The coolest part is, I don't know if it's cool. People probably think I'm kind of douchey for doing it. They gave me a blue stickers. I was an officer candidate. Once I got back to Woodby, I went to Rhode Island. My family was still there. Julie was still there. But they gave me, when I came in, you used to have red sticker for enlisted, blue sticker for if you're an officer. They don't do that anymore because they don't want to identify people and for terrorist reasons or whatever. And I had a blue sticker. They gave me a blue sticker. I'm like, why did you give me a blue sticker? And they saluted me when I went to the gate. I just left this base 6 weeks ago being an E5, like, hey, chump, like, go to work, And this, I just rolled mosey in. He salutes me. I'm like, oh, my Lord, life has changed. I literally drove out of the gate, left base, and came back through the gate again so you could salute me one more time. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. But that was it. That's a little tidbit there. And then we moved to South Carolina after that.
Man, that's incredible to have key people like that in your life. It's a blessing, right? To steer you when you didn't even know you needed to be steered in a certain direction. Obviously, life changing, put you on the path that you're on today.
Yeah, and it influenced you as a person too. And it's like when I speak to enlisted people, when I'm trying to mentor whoever it is, enlisted officer, whatever, I may not have the same impact that he had on me, but I'm always trying to have some sort of impact, hopefully a positive one, to get people going in the right direction, right? And it is what it is. I don't know what that right direction is, but it's just like, hey, this is my life. This is how I did this, right? And an opportunity for you to maybe do something that you're capable. Because I think people stand out. They don't even know they stand out, right? And you see these people and you want to gravitate towards them because you know they can do something better with their life or just improve what they're doing or whatever. It's just like, hey, you have the skill set, the opportunity is there, but you don't know about it. And I'm here to tell you, you can do this. I will help you. I don't know how many letters of recommendations I've written. And State 21 program is what the ECP program is used to be. It's the new kind of ECP program. I literally gravitated towards so many enlisted people that like, hey, you need to do this program. Just trying to repay, just like Gordy did for me. It's like, you need to do this. And, I've actually had a couple that, I worked with them. We did, boards, all the stuff that Gordy did for me. And I actually got a few guys and gals picked up for the program. So
that's awesome.
That's kind of proud moments, when they put the work in and you see their potential and they go off and do something like that. And you're like, wow, okay, it works. And just take 5 minutes out of your day to latch onto somebody. And you know what? You could have a lasting impact on somebody. It works. It doesn't take much, man. Get out of your office, go walk the hallways, latch onto somebody and change your life. It takes 5 minutes out of your day.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like being a good dude or dudette, that's what I always say. And I think it comes back to like people looked out for me and helped me along the way. And then now when I have the opportunity to do so, like I try to do that because, again, you never know. Like I wouldn't be sitting here doing this. I wouldn't be flying planes, wouldn't have flown fast jets if it weren't for mentors and people who at certain points said, hey, go do this. Or have you thought about that? That helped me along that path. So being able to give back is huge. It just takes a little bit of effort every now and then.
Man, I tell you what, it's like if leaders in general just knew, or anybody just knew to get out of your chair and just whatever hallway, wherever you work, it doesn't matter if military or not, just walk the halls. People that work for you, walk the halls, say hi, whatever the case may be, just be available, you know what I mean? And gravitate towards making them better. And once they know you're first off, you're truthful and you're honest about, what the words are coming out of your mouth and they can trust you, man, the opportunities just open up and you'll have a lifetime person that looks up to you. Not that's what you're trying to achieve, but They literally will,
Behold.
you know, yeah, they'll literally like look up and be like, "Thank you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. It's like, don't thank me. You had the capability the whole time. I'm just glad you took the opportunity and ran with it.
Yeah. Make the world a little bit better of a place each and every
Yeah.
time, wherever we can.
5 minutes a day. That's all
That's
it
right.
takes.
I like it. When did you know inside that commissioning program that you were going to go to pilot training?
Selection day, I guess. Again, I've never thought about aviation. I mean, I worked in aviation. I didn't think I could do it, man. Um, it's just one of those things that's very intimidating to think. It's like, man, flight school. Like, I don't have the pedigree background. You know, I was a single child raised by my dad. You know, very mediocre in high school. You know, played basketball. You know, I did good things, right? But you know, when you think about what I grew up with and how I grew up and all that stuff, it's like, man, can I actually make it through this? You know, I just did physics. I was like, I cannot believe I just graduated physics. I graduated physics with like a 3.6 GPA. I'm like, who is this dude? You
Nerd.
know what I mean? But yeah, exactly. It was just brute force, you know. Josh with Toon, it was basically my study partner, and he literally would stay after class to help me get through physics. And like,